GMC takes their undefeated record on the road to face Ellsworth Community College. This is the place for your highlights. You're watching The Burt Williams Show. Coach, you back on the road this week, traveling to Iowa Falls, Iowa, to play an Ellsworth team. Been down a little bit this year, but does have some talent on the roster.
They do. They got a lot of team speed. I think they're lacking a little bit of the linemen they've had in past years, but overall team speed has been outstanding this year on film, and they have one of the leading tacklers in the nation at one of their linebackers. So, you know, we knew they could do a lot of things defensively to really hurt us, and a lot of skill speed on the offensive side to challenge our defense. So it was a game we really had to do a good job preparing for, a little bit unorthodox in the things that they did. So it was one of those, weren't exactly sure how they were going to attack us, but we did a good job adjusting and being ready for it when it all went down.
And your first half highlights are up next. You're watching The Burt Williams Show.
Guys, they're everywhere. They're killing us from the outside. We've got to cover the cracks and crevices. We cannot let them penetrate. Ready? Ready! We got to protect the perimeter! Let Bughouse get rid of your pest nightmare.
Elbow's connected to the arm, and your ears are connected to your brain. Your legs connected to your toes. My elbow's connected to another part of my arm. Your wrist is connected to your joint. The hand's connected to the elbow.
Coach, we come out here, we win the toss, elect to receive, and misplay the ball a little bit here and going to have a long field to start, starting the ball on the 10-yard line.
Yeah, a little disappointed. We worked on that short kick all week and, you know, misplayed it. Should have made a bump call. The back guy should have come up to get it. But, you know, we start off, we fit into the blocks real well, running the stretch to the left side. Javon doing a nice job hitting the hole. And coming out here, Pat on the rollout. Nice job finding Darius Williams on the sideline.
And then we come back here, going to work a little bit of the screen game. Throws a little bit high, but he's able to catch it, get on the ground, and get up field north and south.
Yeah, I tell you, Zyrekus, we'd had a dry track right there. I think Zyrekus would have made it all the way in. It was a lot of rain had hit the 2 days before, and it was pretty wet underfoot, actually, a lot wetter than it may look there on TV. But Javon does a nice job running the ball inside. Good job sidestepping on the outside and popping it in for the first score of the game.
And a great job downfield blocking by those receivers. And the thing you can't tell by these highlights is, you know, that was a 90-yard drive, but it burned up some time off that clock too.
You know, it did. You know, the guys just pounded away, you know, as we were going down the field, and probably one of the best executed drives that we've had all year, and really proud of the way our guys came out after a long trip up there, 18 hours on the bus, to come out there and just, you know, go click, click, click as we went down the field executing our offense.
And then coming back on them with a third and long play and a great job downfield coverage there to bring up fourth down and a punt.
Yeah, you know, nice job defense again, and they did only had 25 snaps in the first half. I mean, great job getting off the field. a lot of 3 and outs for us as we went out there. But you know, again, right there, we had a lot of guys in the box. We fit in pretty good. Javon found a crack, and he pops it a long way down the sideline to move us into good field position.
We come back here with a pass right here, going a nice throw right here in the tight coverage by Thomas.
Yep, you know, I think Quentin Atkinson did a nice job right there, finding a little crack for Pat to throw the ball in. And great job right there by Akeem Judd. You know, probably his best game of the year. It's nice to get him back close to 100%. You know, having him and Javon in the backfield is a great asset to have for our offense. But great job right there fitting the block and getting the extra point. We're up 14-0 in the first quarter and feeling pretty good about things.
And coming back here with a kickoff, one of the few bounces that didn't go our way today. It runs out of bounds here, and they're going to get the ball starting on a 35.
Yeah, I had a bit of a wind in our face right there, and Brandon tried to keep it a little lower, and he, you know, obviously came across it and put it out. But defense, again, does a great job coming out, 3 and out, and, you know, offense has a chance to come back out here, hoping to get some good field position, but their punter did a pretty good job of keeping it away from our returner.
Then we come back out here, going to put the ball in the air, and just a great job of reading, getting what the defense is giving you, checking down, and getting it to the fullback.
Really nice by Pat. Again, we had a little bit of a delay blitz right there, folding underneath, and we're a little bit slow getting to the block. And again, center's got to come off a little quicker. Pat does the same thing that he did earlier, getting the ball out to the running backs in the flat and giving us a chance to move the ball.
And just a crazy play here, just kind of a bad handoff, and they're scooping and scoring, and that leads to quite a bit of scoring right here in a hurry.
Well, we got kind of upset, you know, on the sideline right there, and you know, we come up right here. They have a bad snap, and Quentin Atkinson picks it up, and he's going to score. You know, nice return. You can see the guys hustling downfield to get this, but you know, on the handoff on the previous play, you know, Pat just kind of pulled out there a little quick, you know, trying to work the fake off of that, and gave them a play that we really, going into the game, we did not want to give them anything to get excited about. So we were pretty upset about that, and had a good talk on the sideline about coming out and executing well. And Stephen Houston here, again, we had our up package in looking for the short kick, and he does a great job returning it, putting us in great field position down here close to the goal line.
And then we come down here, and Thomas is going to do a beautiful job throwing the fade, and Letman goes up, high points the ball, and touchdown.
Zyrekus, again, is going to be a great player, I think, as he gets into his sophomore year next year. I mean, just a freshman. You know, he's got height, he's got speed, he's got good ball skills, and Pat does a good job putting it where only he can get it. And we extend that lead 23-6 still in the first quarter.
We come back here with a high, short kickoff. Better coverage this time. The defender almost gets away, and then we get a nice open field tackle.
Yeah, you know, poor tackling right there. You know, Alonzo McGee, you know, 9 times out of 10, he's going to make that play dead right there. But kind of did not finish up the tackle. But defense on the quarter change coming in here, shutting down Ellsworth offense again, and should have the ball in pretty good field position here. With I think we've got Dante Beckham back there, making a little bit of a dangerous catch there with some guys right there in his face.
Then we're coming back here, and this is going to keep the ball in the air. Just a well-executed third down play, complete to the sidelines.
Nice job of Emmanuel Bird in there. You know, we're wanting to play him some more snaps this week, and we got a bit of a lead starting off. Emmanuel can do a lot of things, throwing and running, and you saw a nice throw on the out cut right there, running a little bit of speed option on the outside, and, you know, tackle missed the block, took a bad angle to that linebacker, and Akeem Judd almost takes it in for the score.
Then we're going to come back here, going to hit Letman on a seam. Just a nice throw right here for the score.
I tell you, you know, again, Zyrekus, great job finding the hole. And, you know, Bird was about to pull it down and run with it. And saw Zyrekus right there. Good job getting the ball to him and, again, extending the lead as we go through the first half.
30-6, and you just have to be so pleased with the way both quarterbacks and the offense has been out there and executing so far.
You know, really the only thing that we did poorly here in that first half, again, was that mishandled handoff. And, you know, that was disappointing. We didn't want to give them, you know, a touchdown that they didn't earn. But the guys came out there and they played hard. And, you know, defense is out there, you know, here causing a fumble. And we get the ball back. And, you know, just the guys are out there playing hard in all phases and making things happen. So, you know, felt good about the way things were going. And here comes Pat back out and finds Quentin Atkinson going down the sideline for another touchdown.
Just a beautiful double move right there and wide open, and a good job of Pat getting him the ball. We kick it through to make it a 37-6 lead.
It's again, it's second quarter right here, just 6 minutes left. Feeling good about the way we're executing. You know, we're starting to run some of our second team guys up front in here, and, you know, rolling all our skill guys through here. You know, having a chance. You know, we came out just great execution, It gave us a chance to extend the lead and get a lot of guys in there on the offensive side and the defensive side, getting them some good quality snaps.
And here we come back out with Ellsworth working the read option pass right here and actually going to pick up their first down in the first half.
Yeah, that was a tough one trying to simulate this week. They do a little bit of that, and you can see that they have some problems in the backfield there. Quarterback is something they had lost a quarterback earlier in the year, and the gentleman they have in their quarterbacking is a guy that had played it in high school, but they had really hoped to be a receiver. So they, have some issues right there at that position. But one of the few times offensively, I think the only time this half, we had to punt. And guys did a good job getting downfield covering and trying to pin that ball inside the 10.
And then we're going to come right here. He's going to try to pass. Quarterback pulls it down, gets outside, and going to make a short gain.
Yeah, LeGrand Harley had a chance to get him right there in the backfield, kind of came under that cut block, should have worked outside. You see Devontae Lambert right there, getting after him, and he doesn't give up. He's going to keep going after it, but putting great pressure on that quarterback. Him and Kendarius Whitehead there in the backfield, number 9, doing a great job putting pressure on him. And again, the defense steps up, forces a punt, and Dante Beckham's going to come out and, catch a tough ball right there and get us at least first down yardage on the play. And we're going to come up, not a whole lot of time left. We're going to take a knee and go into halftime with a nice lead.
That's 37-6 lead going in at half. And Coach, when you're on the road like this, playing a team, it's important to go out and finish them. And I know that's what you got to be talking about at halftime.
Well, we we wanted to go out and continue to execute the way that we did in the first half. I mean, offensively, we had, basically one bad play, and it cost us a touchdown. But we want to continue to execute what we were doing in all phases. And that first 30 minutes was probably as good execution as we've had offensively, defensively, and special teams all year. So we were real pleased with that, just wanted to maintain it. And
you can really see that I think the guys got some confidence after the win last week against the number 2 team.
Well, I think so. They're just excited to get back out there. They stayed focused, had a good week of practice, knew we had a long, difficult road trip, and, had to go out there and just kind of build on the things that we've done good in weeks past. And I think, again, in all phases, we did build on those things and did a lot of good things against Ellsworth. The first 30 minutes was great, and just had to go back out there and get 30 more.
We'll be right back with your second half highlights. You're watching The Burt Williams Show.
Excuse me. Your change.
It's nice to know you can trust people. State Farm is counting on it. They want you to talk to your neighbors, then call a State Farm agent, find out how you can get discounts up to 40%. See, State Farm insures 40 million drivers. That's more than Geico and Progressive combined.
Then call State Farm agent Karen Rowell at 478-452-4502.
When you get your statement from your financial representative, are you confused by all the extra fees? Grant Financial Group ends the confusion with flat-rate, fee-based asset management. Our team of professionals can handle all the financial needs for your business or your personal assets at significantly lower cost. We have relationships for everything from accounting to legal issues with a premium on service for you. Come see us today and let Grant Financial Group provide you with long-term success in your financial future.
Elbows connected to the arm, and your ears are connected to your brain. Your legs connected to your toes. My elbow's connected to another part of my arm. Your wrist is connected to your joint. The hand's connected to the elbow.
Robinson on.
Touchdown, Bulldogs. Pass complete.
Gonna start the second half, come out here and kick the ball away. We got a high, short kick, but just a great job on coverage right here.
Yeah, you know, kicking into a pretty stiff wind going in this direction right here, but guys did a nice job getting down there. See Chris Duffy, Desmond Reed, and a couple other guys. And offensively come back out, and, you know, Pat's on the run right there. Good job not forcing the ball, gaining some ground right there, and just having a chance to play the next play. You know, again, we want him to run the offense, not force, not make things happen that weren't there. And once again does the same thing, you know, ripping off 5-6 yards on the scramble. Comes out, you know, we don't get the first, so we have to kick the field goal, and Brandon Rutherford comes out and does a nice job for us.
And you can really see Pat maturing, not forcing balls right there on the third down and giving us an opportunity for that.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, early on in the season, he was pressing a little bit. You know, Pat's very talented. And, you know, he just has to go out there and play and take what they give him. And he's really, the last few games, done a great job doing that. And, you know, I think his numbers show that. And I think the wins we've been able to get have been showing that as well. But defense comes out and, again, does a great job. We got a new guy back there returning punts, trying to get him a little bit of time. Shaquem Pitts does a nice job fielding that. And Perfect Robinson, a local guy from Twiggs County, super fast guy, one of our receivers on the speed sweep. Come out there and we run a little wide delay right here. Tamon Hampton out of Vidalia doing a nice job selling the block and then sneaking out right there. Pat hits him, and, you know, we're back in business again. And right there, you know, we have a drop ball. First, one of only 2 incompletes on the day for Pat. Went 16 for 18 on the day. And I know Keenan Lewis there, 86, wishes he'd have another chance at that one. But, you know, defense has to come back out. You see guys fitting in right there, Taylor Payne, D'Angelo Hewlett, a couple other guys, you know, getting after the ball. And nice play right here coming in, you know, knocking the ball away as he bobbled it and forcing the punt.
Yeah, that was a 3rd and 7 play, bringing up this punt right here. The punter really did a good job on the day, pinning us deep and hitting corner kicks.
Yeah, you know, we saw him on film and knew he was a weapon. Really had a strong leg, and running the draw right here in a long yardage situation. Akeem does a nice job, you know, getting 15, 20 yards or so on that one. And, you know, offense, again, we're doing a good job moving. Nice throw right here again to, I believe that's Quentin Atkinson right there on the slant. And doing a lot of good things. Akeem right here sticks his toe in the ground, finds some grass, and is off to the races down the sideline. And
you mentioned earlier it was good to see Akeem healthy, but you can tell that foot's a lot better and he's able to get back to his normal self, making key moves, and just a great run, throw, and catch, and an all-effort play right here by the big fullback getting in for the score.
Oh, absolutely. Antonio Sims, you know, out of Codner's area, really did a great job right there. And, you know, here's a miscue in the special teams right there. You know, the snapper snapped the ball without the go activation code there, and we weren't ready for it, and we don't get the PAT on that one. You know, a mistake that could be critical in another situation and something we got to do a better job of. Morgan did a great job all day for us on snaps until that mental mistake. But, you know, again, offense did a great job popping it in, and defense got to come out here and, you know, hopefully stop them. And they tried to do a little misdirection on us, but the guys stay home.
And just a great job playing contain there, bringing up a 4th down. And we're going to be fortunate again. The punter gets off a shorter punt this time, and it's going to hit and roll dead there, and we're going to start out with pretty good field position.
Yeah, nice job, Shaquem, you know, calling those guys off, getting them away from the ball. You know, Birdman's back in there. Doesn't want to fit the ball in, so he's going to scramble a little bit. And again, sloppy footing right there with all the rain they got in the day before, and we're not able to execute on 3rd down. And I think for only the 2nd time of the day, Alec Durbano has to come out and punt away for us.
They're going to come back here and complete a kind of a throwback pass here, and you can actually see Coach Manchester on the sideline there that's not too happy with that happening either.
No, he wasn't. You know, the corner was kind of playing off and just really wasn't playing technique and doing the things he needs to do right there. And I think we relaxed a little bit on this drive, you know, stopped playing the technique and the assignment that we've done all day. And, you know, this quarterback right here is an excellent athlete. Can run very well. He did a nice job taking advantage of what we didn't do, and they pop it in for their only offensive score of the game.
And that makes it 46-13, and it's they come back out here and kick it. They're gonna have another, like you say, kicking into that wind, another high short kick, and we'll almost pop it through right there.
Very close. I don't think Q saw that guy coming off the edge. I think he saw that green grass, and you know, here a nice job throwing again the slant right here. Keenan Lewis trying to make up for that earlier drop and doing a nice job on the route and throwing it. And Emmanuel Bird, again, he's very dangerous with his feet as well as his arm and does a nice job getting away from a little bit of pressure right there, and throws a strike on 4th down right here. And again, that's one we got to come up with. That one probably scores if we bring it in, but we have to turn the ball over on downs. And you can see Jamarlo Alford and LeGrand Harley right there putting pressure on the quarterback and almost get the pick right there. Chris Duffy's about a step late getting out under the curl. And these guys are moving a little bit, but we hold them to 4th and long right here, and great pressure on the quarterback. Got Taylor Payne and Kendarius Whitehead right there getting the big sack.
We're going to come back here, though, in a little bit of, I guess he tripped on some of that bad field that you were talking about. Couldn't get the handoff and make another turnover.
Yeah, false step right there, and, just loses his balance and goes down, and quarterback just throws it where he, assumes the pocket's going to be. So we had, kind of 2 guys right there not executing the way we want. So defense has to come back out, and you can see the guys, Buddy Byers right there in good coverage. Got to keep his feet and make that tackle and not let it squirm away. But they had holding on that one. And you can see our guys, again, trying to put some pressure on that quarterback, and LeGrand Harley just misses the sack, and their quarterback does a nice job getting a little bit of positive yardage.
They're going to come back here on one of their last plays of the game on a 4th down, throw it just too high and out of the reach. And your favorite formation and mine, Coach, victory, and that's a 46-13 win on the road against a quality opponent and keeps the streak alive.
It does. Again, the guys went up there after a big win, long trip. And, a lot of times that's tough when you get that big win against a, top 5 opponent to be able to refocus and do all the things you need to do to get ready for that next game. And, guys, hats off to them, our staff, getting our players ready to go, and the players getting themselves mentally and physically ready to go out there and execute a good game plan, and they did just that.
We'll be right back to take a look at next week's matchup. You're watching The Burt Williams Show.
Excuse me. Your change.
It's nice to know you can trust people. State Farm is counting on it. They want you to talk to your neighbors, then call a State Farm agent, find out how you can get discounts up to 40%. See, State Farm insures 40 million drivers. That's more than Geico and Progressive combined.
Then call State Farm agent Karen Rowell at 478-452-4502.
Guys, they're everywhere. They're killing us from the outside. We've got to cover the cracks and crevices. We cannot let them penetrate. Ready?
Right.
We got to protect the perimeter. Let Bughouse get rid of your pest nightmare.
Elbows connected to the arm, and your ears are connected to your brain. Your legs connected to your toes. My elbow's connected to another part of my arm. Your wrist connected to your joint. The hand's connected to the elbow.
Coach, you return home this week for a big one. I mean, you had the number 2 team in before, and now this team's going to be probably ranked 3 or 4 coming in, Nassau, who's just a long-term rival of ours, and it's always a big game, even more so now.
It is, and there's a lot of years, we've gone into this game where we've both been, ranked in the top 10, and they're undefeated, we're undefeated, and all that. So this is hardly the first time this has been a huge game for us, and we have had a long rivalry, as you said. This time, we'll both be in the top 5. It's a critical game, for both of us. If we want a chance to play for it at the end of the season, then one of us is going to have to get that win on Saturday. So it's a big game. There's a lot riding on it, and our guys just got to get ready to go out there and play another top 5 opponent. It'll be our 3rd of the year. So, we've been there before, so that's a good thing.
And it's like you said, it's your 3rd top 5 opponent, but it's also your 8th straight game this year without an open week, which can bring a set of problems on its own.
Well, it can. Your guys never get a break. You never get a chance to get that off week and get some healing in. Thankfully, we've not had a ton of real bad injuries. We've lost our starting tight end, and he won't be back for another couple of weeks. And then we lost our one of our starting linemen after about the 3rd game. And, again, he's got another week or 2 before he gets back. So, we've had some guys that we've missed that we'd like to have on our offense. And then we've had some guys banged up as well defensively that maybe hadn't been 100%. Again, we talked about Akeem earlier, that, he really is the closest he's been to 100% was this last game against Ellsworth. And, we'll get a little bit closer, we feel like, this week coming out of the game. So having him and Javon, both of them, playing real well, both of them close to 100% really, I think, will help us up front. And, defensively, again, getting all our guys, hopefully this week we'll do a good job not overworking their legs and getting them out there fresh, ready for Saturday.
And when you typically think of Nassau, myself, I think of they're always great on the edges, on both sides of the ball. They usually have big, long receivers and tall guys that can rush the quarterback.
Well, they do, and it's, like you said, that's what they are. Again, they got some really good defensive ends, and they're really good up the middle, too. They've got a defensive tackle that'll have a shot at probably being an All-America. Really good ball player, and their linebacking core can really run. I mean, some really good players. A couple of them were guys that we had tried to recruit and get in here and just weren't able to get in with some of the others we got. So, they're very talented. They're going to be very physical on defense and offense. They'll probably be the best running offense that we'll play this year. A little bit different from the Iowa Western scheme, where they're, throwing the ball a lot of the quick out and all. Nassau's going to line up and try to blow you off the ball, and they've got 2 really good running backs to help them do it. So it's going to be a challenge, and again, a different challenge. It seems like each week we've had a different challenge to overcome, either offensively or defensively or both, from what we've seen in earlier weeks. So we got to work it out for us this week, but it's going to be a great game on Saturday.
It should be a great game and just a great day to be in Milledgeville, and we'll have all your highlights here next week. You've been watching the Burt Williams Show.